Hi everybody, it's Markonomics 101 back with you again, presenting another amazing episode of Hulu. Today's is going to be called today's is going to be called Car Wars Part 2. You know, all these robo cars are basically, you know, it's a $3 trillion industry. I don't even know how you get that big. But Apple just joined. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And we're also going to talk about crypto. And is crypto time to buy? A lot of people are saying buy the dip, it's down 27%. We're going to go through it very, 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 very logically, and you can come up with your own conclusions. I have mine. You guys know I don't really particularly care about crypto and passwords, and all the shenanigans that goes on with them. But if you just are burning a hole in your pocket to throw money away, I all the power to you. We're going to tell the truth here. I have put this has been self-funded. I'm a patriot. I want to see America free again. And I want to see this insanity that has gripped the country, finally start to ameliorate. So please watch our shows. We have new information every week. I was a Wall Street insider. I was an investment banking insider. I know when people are trying to pull the wool on you. Please like and subscribe, and watch the whole thing, because there's just so much information that you're not going to get on CNN or any other kind of financial media. And as a matter of fact, my friend had cable news on here in the background when I walked in the door, and oh my God, I had a migraine for 3 days. So, please wear protective goggles if you're going to watch cable news. And you might want to have a truth translator, because what they say and what is the truth is not really consistent. So anyway, we've got some great information for you, and we're going to be right back with the charts. Well, welcome back, everybody, to the charts. And I got to start out with my two canaries in the coal mine, Bitcoin and Tesla. Bitcoin is a canary in the coal mine because no one knows what it does. They put money in it expecting it to go up like as if it were a slot machine. This is no different than going to Las Vegas, okay? I mean, I can tell you this right now. There is no such thing as a Bitcoin. If you wanted to buy Bitcoin from someone, you couldn't. I mean, it would sit in the vault somewhere in a computer, and you could never get at it. You'd never see it, never know what it looked like. But I also want to ask all of you crypto crazy people out there, have you ever used a cryptocurrency for anything? Anything? Has it ever been a necessary thing that you've used, like toilet paper? I mean, Kleenex. Tesla, the other canary in the coal mine. This robo automated taxi delivery is just exploded like I've never seen in my life. Okay? Tesla is now worth more than $1 billion, selling about $500,000 cars. They've gotten panned by Consumer Reports and another another auto, ranker, and they are not getting really great reports. Although I don't understand this, but the drivers love them. I don't know about the dead ones that crashed, auto driving, but the ones that I know, I have a couple close friends that have them. They just love them to death. So the Dow Jones Industrials, look at that. It was about to break down last week. It could have, and all of a sudden it bounced. Now what you'll notice about the bounce, the little bit of bounce, didn't make a new high. It went right about to that resistance area. But look at the volume. When the Dow was plunging last week, okay, you had a huge spike up in volume, and when the Dow rallied, it had a lot less volume. That is a sign of a bear market rally. Not the only sign, but that's a sign. You do not get high volume on bear market rallies. That's all there is to it. The NASDAQ 100, well, it broke out a lot of the just mega cap components, just tacked on market cap like you can believe. The NASDAQ 100 is, it's at about $16 trillion. It may be making a little top here. I don't know. I'm not ready to call it a top because you've got so many. You've got Amazon holding in there, Apple holding in there. It's not ready until, the whole big boys decide that they just can't take it anymore. The S&P 500 is actually looking the best of all of them. They have more banks, they have more tech. So, if you look at the top 10 holdings of S&P 500, it's like 25%. Unbelievable. 25% is the top 10 market caps. So, and they're all tech and, Warren Buffett and a few banks. The small cap 600 actually is looking both good and bad. The small cap 100 is not making a lot of is making very many new highs and very few new lows. Okay, so what's happening is it's getting weaker on the inside. Okay, but it hasn't broken down that long trend channel. This one, I don't know, it may just break down. Those false breakouts above trend lines, they happen too. So, you need to keep your stops in order. If it breaks back down, out, small profit. But if it breaks out, these things could go a long distance. This is a lot of compression in here, a lot of buyers and sellers. And if it does break up, everybody's up and they're going to be chasing it. Yes, I know, Ace. I know you don't like when people do that. What is it that you want to say to me right now? Okay, Ace. All right. Well, Ace is my consultant, and he just does not like stock buybacks. The reason he doesn't like stock buybacks is that management is compensated on stock share, and by buying back stock, they artificially propel it. Sometimes they're unethical about doing it. I do not believe that Apple is, because it always goes up. Dow Jones Transportation, I'm going to go back here for a second. It broke up. It just tottering on the edge. US dollar, this one blows my mind. It continued has for a long time. But the Fed is trying to defend the dollar. And if the Fed does not have a dollar to defend, they have no weapons. The dollar is the only weapon the Fed has. The United States, now this is interesting. The United States, if people don't think that there's a bubble out there, the United States has 28% of the world GDP and 60% of the market cap. Doesn't that tell you something right there, that there's like a premium for the United States? And I don't know about you, but I don't exactly see us being run very well right now. The US dollar, this is a 20-year chart. It's midway. I mean, it really hasn't, depreciated over the last 20 years according to this index. Now, the index is not necessarily indicative of purchasing power, because, you go to McDonald's and used to pay $1.50 for a cheeseburger, and now it's, now it's $3. So, you can have the dollar index go up, but it goes down. It goes up against the European, the euro, the yen, and a bunch of, the pound and a couple other little, things. So it's really against the euro. 5-year Treasury yields, these things were starting to break up, and shorter term yields like this are not particularly a stimulative thing to the market. And 5-year Treasury points were down at like 5 basis points not all that long ago. They're now, they've now hit 125, and it to me looks like it's still going to keep going. The 10-year Treasury bills, I don't know what the hell to say. The 10-year Treasury bills are looking like we are heading into a full-flung depression. 154, 150 for the 10-year Treasury bill. CPI came out at almost 7% annualized. That is among the lowest real returns You know, in other words, you get 1.5%. Whoopee-doo, Edith. I don't know if you have any All-American family fans, but I'll tell you this, 1.5 ain't going to get you anywhere, and you are bleeding. They are buying these at the Treasury to fund Social Security. So you're paying for it. You would never buy it, but the government would buy it for you and shove it down your throat. 30-year Treasury bills even worse. Now, this is starting to make me wonder if we are really heading toward an economic collapse, because the 30-year Treasury, for it to be at about 1.7, not even at 9, with inflation running ridiculous amounts. Now, inflation, I want to make sure that y'all know this. It's individual, okay? It's kind of like, you know, it can be 5 for you, it can be 3 for me, it can be 20 for somebody else. So the important thing is to keep a hedge on inflation, and inflation raises interest rates, they force rates to go up, and the economy starts to get extremely unequilibrium. The Treasury inflation-protected securities. Now, these are right on the cusp. Is it possible? I'm going to ask you, is it possible that inflation was transitory? I don't see how, but you know, if this thing breaks down, maybe it was. A lot of the commodity prices are not doing so well after all, after having like 1,000% increase year over year. Bitcoin Cash. Now I'm going to go into the cryptos, and should you dip your toe in the water? The answer is a wholeheartedly no, no, unless you want to lose all your money and be considered an idiot. Bitcoin Cash. This is not this. Some woman on Instagram tried to get me to buy into Bitcoin Cash, and I said, yeah, tried to buy me in Bitcoin. And she goes, I say, do you know where corporate headquarters are? What are earnings? And who's the president? I'd like to meet him. It takes her 30 minutes to look it up that it's Roger Ver, and that's wrong, because he is basically has something to do with Bitcoin Cash, no official responsibility, and he's an ex-felon. There you go. You love your management, that's what you need, an ex-felon that's offshore that you can't touch. Ethereum also made a double top. It is really by far the strongest one. I'm still not, you know, again, you've got to remember, when you buy Ethereum, you're not buying the company. You are buying, you know, you're not buying the U.S. Treasury. You're buying all the things that they print out and throw around. But it is a real company. And Litecoin, I think they just sell merchandise. I really don't know who uses Litecoin. Ripple, again, there's a Ripple Labs, and it's in Silicon Valley. If you own the company, maybe that'd be something to talk about. But these are just tokens. I mean, they just make it a little easier to send money overseas in Western Union and Swift. Okay, that's worth a little bit of money, but on the other hand, you know, they're in ample supply. Coinbase is that great broker dealer that came out not too long ago when crypto looked like it was going to be, you know, absolutely societally changing. And this is all pop culture. Crypto and Bitcoin. I do not know anyone that has been bearish on it but me. And that doesn't matter that I don't make the money going up. I'm fine with that. You can't make every dollar. Sometimes you have to let it go. And this is one where Coinbase, I think the volumes are going to go down, and it's a broker dealer, and it's just not going to be as, you know, as robust as people thought it was when it came out. Robinhood, oh my God. They have been Robinhood for a long damn time. I mean, this thing, Robinhood looked like so promising, and it's now down, you know, now down to 75% drop. Who the hell want to own that now? Overstock.com is a retailer, the first one and the most major one to take Bitcoin. It took it since 2013. And out of all their e-commerce sales, less than 1/2 of 1% are Bitcoin. People don't want to spend Bitcoins on merchandise. They think they are worth infinite value. If you look at the futures, CME futures of Bitcoin, and I talked about this last week, okay? You might want to contract with someone to have Bitcoin delivered to you at a specific date, and you'll pay an amount for that. Now, what's strange about that is you can't deliver Bitcoin. There's nothing to deliver. Number two, you are settled in cash. So if you settle in cash with this futures trader, what's the difference between that and gambling? Seriously, what's the difference between that and gambling? There is none, because you can't get Bitcoin. It does not exist. That's the whole point. You can't deliver it to somebody. Microenergy, this is MicroStrategy. This is one that Michael Saylor, who is a very big fan of cryptocurrencies, just went hog wild. And, he's probably underwater right now, and I think he may not be. But the point of the matter is, I just don't know what he's going to do with this. So maybe I should give him a call and say, hey, Mike, what's the strategy? That was a joke. You're supposed to laugh. All right, Greystone Bitcoin Trust. This was actually more of an ETF before BITO came out. And look at this thing. This thing is so underperforming even Bitcoin that a lot of these signs, a lot of these sort of tangential signs increase the odds that this whole crypto thing is. Now, Apple. Now I want to go back to the cars. Okay. Now Apple announced an incredible automobile for 2025. I don't know if they'll get it done, but no steering wheels, no brake pedals or anything like that, and it's round. It's like a pod, and you can put Alexa in it. You can put all the Apple stuff in it. It's really kind of neat. They just haven't made cars, so it'll be interesting to see whether they can pull it off. But the market, since the announcement, has ascribed $500 billion to Apple. Okay, and that's not probably unreasonable. It's going to be a $3 trillion company pretty soon. And what's $3 trillion between you and me? Amazon continues to threaten to break out. This is why I can't really come down and pound the table and slam it and all that kind of stuff and say, there's something to do here. Everything is kind of on the edge. Meta platforms, here's one on the edge. If you've watched, Mark Zuckerberg is my nominee for the Nobel Peace Prize and the Nobel Humanitarian Award. And I talked to the Dalai Lama last night, and I understood that he and Mark had a very good conversation, and that, Mark's going to borrow a couple of his kids, and we'll see what happens. But, Facebook and Instagram and Cash App are platforms to steal and to hustle and to work people over, and WhatsApp especially. If you have WhatsApp on your phone, be very careful. It can be seen by the other side, okay? It can be seen by the other side. Google, unbelievable. Has about 100 companies, just keeps going up. And Google owns Waymo. Here, speaking of which, another robo auto company. And they claim to have a really good one, better than Tesla. I don't know. But they've gone straight up for a couple of years. NVIDIA is now the poster child of semiconductors. They're short everywhere. What I'm afraid of is that when semiconductors get short, everybody builds them, and then all of a sudden they're in surplus. But right now, with all the auto companies and the electric and General Motors and the electric and Rivian and Lucid and the electric, all of those cars, and Porsche are going to need, are going to need those kind of chips. So it has a bright future. It's pretty expensive right now. It's in crypto, and it's in self-driving vehicles. Jeez, could you pick any two better up? Netflix done pretty well for during such period as people were locked down, and sort of an inside trade, an inside the home trade, and now it is broken up out of a fairly long consolidation, and it could keep going higher. There's been an awful lot of fakes here, so be careful. I'm not saying go out and get aggressive yet. Bank index, because the yield curve is flattening, the 5s are going up, the 30s are going down, and that means that the curve is gone from here to here to here to here. And usually when the curve starts to flatten and or invert, that is not a good sign. That puts banks in a terrible situation. They're important to the economy, but you can't lend long at 2% and borrow at 3%, and that's the problem that they're going to have. So Jay Powell eventually is starting to acknowledge that he's going to raise rates, but it better be sooner than rather than later. The broker-dealer index still hanging up in there. There may be a few more deals, I don't know, but I can't wait to see if SpaceX comes out, especially after Elon Musk claims that he can go bankrupt. And the other thing about Elon Musk, I can't get to low Earth orbit yet until at least after 2022. How are you going to get to Mars, Elon? That's kind of a longer distance. Jeez. Dow Jones REIT index. This is probably the best long-term hedge against inflation. Not perfect, but a good one. And it looks like it's breaking out again. We're just, at some point, there are just too many dollars chasing too many things. And the Fed, unfortunately, they're so screwed. They have got to keep rates low, because if they double rates, the interest on the national debt will explode. We will explode. We will implode. And it is a matter of time. That's all there is to it. It's a matter of time, and it's time to protect yourself. CRB, this one broke down a little bit. Maybe it's transitory. I don't know. I'm not going to say that yet. Agriculture fund, food is going up, more expensive. Base metals fund, zinc, lead, all that stuff that's used to build. It's going up. It's going up in price. That's all there is to it. Light crude oil, look at that. That just took a dive bomb on, a few days ago. And, I think that, I think that there's been some manipulation in the market. I think that shale will come on eventually and snuff it off, because there are some shale companies that are starting to ramp up production. Natural gas, look at that. Natural gas was going to heat up Europe, and there's going to be a cold Siberian winter. Well, the weathermen, who are always right, like me, they say that it's going to be a warm winter. So natural gas kind of came down, but it sure did look like it was going. Gold for 20 years. Now, this is one where I don't know if I'll live long enough. I've lived so many centuries, but I don't know if I'll live long enough to see gold again. Gold is in a really good pattern. It just lulls you to sleep, and when it finally does break, it should go. Because the dollar, they have to monetize some humongous debt that we have at the budget level, and that means you print money. So that's going to happen. More money, fixed amount of gold, gold goes up. End of story. Silver, same too, although it's not done as well. It has an industrial use, but silver, when it does take off, if and when, this will explode. And then there's American Airlines. We keep being told that there's a comeback in flying, and the ticket prices are through the roof. I've checked some of them too. So American, the thing that they're going to have to answer for to regulators, them, Delta, and others. Why did you need hundreds of billions of dollars? I mean, seriously, what did you use that for? Because that they're going to have to explain how much money they use. They use an enormous amount of money. how the stock is worth anything is beyond me. MasterCard is, also took a big dive last week, bounced a little bit, and again, slow volume and high volume on the way down. That's not a good sign. You want high volume in the direction that you want the stock to go. You don't want high volume unless it's a washout, a complete washout. But you don't want high volume on the way down and short volume and slow volume on the way up. Visa, broke down from a rounded top, and it's bounced a little bit. It's pretty much gotten to where it should have gone before bouncing. But again, notice the green bars and the low volume. This is not going to start a new market, I don't believe. And Home Depot, this one is just indestructible. I don't know what they have in there. Who knows? But Home Depot is a Dow component, and it has been steadfastly just going up and up and up and up. Nordstrom, it started to look good, and then it just broke down. And right now Nordstrom's not looking too good. There aren't going to be as many retailers by far when this is all over. I mean, that last year 100 of them closed. There's a whole bunch of them that are closed. Saks is even going to close, I understand, and just run Saks online. Now, I don't know why you'd want to do that, because other retailers will do that, like Kohl's, and then you'll have a bunch of Kohl's online, Saks online, this online, that online, and I'm not sure if that's really going to be. They're thinking of spinning those off so that they can get Amazon-like valuations. I don't know if that's going to work. Costco doesn't stop. Look at that. Just keeps going and going and going and going. They have done such a good job of executing, and they're in the right locations. And this company has gone from 210 to 550 in less than a year. I mean, it's just unreal. It's a grocery store. Grocery stores are like the most boring things there ever are. And for this kind of thing to actually act like a tech stock, unreal. And another economically sensitive company is FedEx. They can't seem to find my door, but that's them. They got a lot of work to do. This is a 5-year weekly, and they're really kind of coming down quite a bit. So this is another reason why last week I asked, is there a depression imminent? Because when they stop delivering goods, where are you going to get them? And that means that demand is coming down. People bought early Christmas presents, so we might see this thing fall off a cliff. Now, I put it behind UBS. That one looks a little bit better, but I would say that the same thing is possible for UBS. General Motors, this country used to be all run on motors. So goes General Motors, so goes the market. Well, now it's not really that way anymore. Now they don't want to pull, but they've talked about pulling the electronic vehicle operation out of General Motors. So you'd have a $40 billion General Motor cap and $180 billion or an $80 billion EV cap, and you'd actually get more value than you would if you just held General Motors. They don't want to do it though. Lucid Group is another one which has had basically almost no revenues. It's valued at almost like $100 billion, and that tells you something, that even a small chance of competing against 20 competitors is still worth $100 billion. It just blows my mind. I don't even know if they've sold a car yet. Ford, this is the surprise of the century, okay? Ford is the old stodgy company that, Edsel Ford and all those kinds of things, all those just all those mishaps. But look at this. Their new CEO, female, has absolutely taken the bit with electronic vehicles. Now, here's the problem. You start building too much of these things, every automaker builds one of these things, and you're going to have a glut. But right now, Ford is worth $80 billion. I don't think it's been worth that in a while. And most of it is because of the EV success. Okay, this is Rivian Automotive. Rivian is a van delivery service from Amazon. And this is actually considered by many analysts Tesla's biggest competitor. I don't know why. Tesla supposedly gets you from point A to point B. This guy just delivers. So you'll see Amazon trucks down the street, and there'll be a Rivian car. Now I'm not sure if it's manned or what exactly they do, but it is a driverless car. The semiconductor index, look at that. This tells you the market's not quite ready to go down. It just keeps making new highs, new highs, new highs, new highs. Big Pharma, also, that's one that sure hasn't been hurt by being sick. Have a lot more to, provide their favorite politicians with campaign funds. Make sure that the drugs are protected, they can't be sued, and all that kind of good stuff. So, and finally, GameStop. I just thought I'd put this here as a novelty. It looks like it's finally breaking down, but boy, did that take a while. Unwinding a short squeeze is a really, really tough thing, especially when other people know you're in a short squeeze and they can use it against you. So, GameStop has been fascinating, and they're going on the S&P 500 because the valuation has gone up. Isn't that amazing? So, with that, we're going to be back in just one moment and say goodbye to you and tell you soon what to look for. Hi, we're going to see you next time. We can't wait to see you next time for another great show. Be informed, be amused, never be misled. And please like and subscribe. And I can't wait to see you guys again and deliver more information again that you can find helpful.